Hello dear students, welcome back to the course of Mathematics 1. Today in this video we are going to start with series. Already in a previous video we have discussed about the sequence. But what is the series? Series is nothing but sum of terms of the infinite sequence is known as the series. But in this video we are going to discuss about the two series, telescoping series and the geometric series. So let us first understand the infinite series. What is the infinite series? So series is a sum of terms of the infinite. It is denoted as summation un. Also whenever you expand it, so it will be u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus and so on. And this is what infinite terms. If the series contains finite term, then the series will be the finite series. Otherwise it will be the infinite series. Also finite series can be written as summation starting from I is equal 1 to n ui. And let us understand the partial sum. Whenever you consider only first terms, whatever you have the series u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus and so on. But if I consider only first term, so that is denoted as s1. When I consider first two terms, so it is denoted by s2. If there are three terms, so we will write it s3. In general, Sn can be represented as u1 plus u2 plus and last un. And this is the finite series. Summation starting from I is equal 1 to n ui. And this is known as the partial sum. But now question arises that when we consider the series is convergent. Already we have seen that the sequence is convergent if we have the limit of the nth term, and if we have the finite quantity, then we say that the sequence is convergent. Otherwise it will be the divergent. That is already we have learned in the last video. But question arises that when we consider the series is convergent. So for that, first simply you should understand that whenever we have the partial sum and limit of n tends to infinite of this Sn, and if you get the finite quantity, then the series will be the convergent. Otherwise it will be the divergent. So simply you will understand limit n tends to infinite, Sn is equal s, where s is a finite quantity. So s is nothing but finite quantity. So it will be the sum of the series, and therefore infinite sum can be written as only s. Divergent series. Whenever you get this series is divergent if Sn tends to plus or minus infinite, then the series will be the divergent. That means if the limit does not exist of the partial sum, then it will be the divergent series. So let us understand the property of the series. Suppose you have given that the series un and series vn both are the convergent series, then the series c times un and series un plus vn and series un minus vn also it will be the convergent. Also you should remember that whenever constant multiply with the sequence and when we take its sum, so also you can take common from all the terms of the series. That means you can write c into sum un. Series un plus or minus vn is there, so in that case you may write series un plus or minus series vn. Removal or addition finite number of terms doesn't affect the convergence of the series. So let us understand first telescoping series. So that the telescoping series, and using this series you can represent the infinite sums. So whenever you see like that partial sum is there, u1 plus u2 plus u3 and so on. But this un is nothing but 1 divided by n into n plus 1, and this can be represented as n into n plus 1, and that is numerator can be rewrite as n plus 1 minus n, and that will be the 1 divided by n minus 1 divided by n plus 1. But when you consider partial sum Sn is nothing but sum of all the terms of the first n terms u1 plus u2 plus u3 plus and last un. So un, that means you need to perform your n is equal 1. So 1 divided by 1 minus 1 divided by 2 plus 1 divided by 2 minus 1 divided by 3, and last that is 1 divided by n minus 1 divided by n plus 1. But whenever you see, so second, third term will be eliminated, fourth, fifth term will be eliminated, and like that what you can eliminate till second last term. So what you will have 1 minus 1 divided by n plus 1. But whenever you take the limit and tends to infinite, so what you will get 1 minus 1 divided by infinite, and 1 divided by infinite is nothing but this is zero quantity, so we will get only 1, and therefore the series is convergent because of this is the finite quantity, and therefore series is convergent and its infinite sum is nothing but 1, therefore we write this one. Sometimes this question can be asked that prove that series n is equal 1 to infinite, 1 divided by n into n plus 1 is equal 1. That means you need to determine infinite sum is equal 1. Otherwise, whenever you start with this question, so Sn is nothing but that is a1 plus a2 plus and last that is an. But when you perform, so what it will be 1 divided by 1 into 2, 1 divided by 2 into 3 plus 1 divided by 3 into 4 plus and last 1 divided by n into n plus 1. But whenever you see first quantity 1 divided by 1 minus 1 by 2, and when you simplify, so that can be written like that. Next one 1 divided by 2 minus 1 divided by 3. Again you can, whenever you simplify, so you will get this one. But in general, suppose you want to write here, so I'm just going to give you one method that will help you to determine the constant whatever it is. So how we can, suppose if I use the partial fraction method, so a divided by n plus b divided by n plus 1, whatever I'm just telling to you, it will help you whenever you have the linear and distinct factor. So this is the linear factor as well as the distinct, n into n plus 1, both are the distinct factors. Suppose I want to determine a, so whenever I assume that n is equal 0, then and then only it will be the 0. So I will hide this one, and 1 divided by 0 plus 1. So what I'm just going to get, a will be replaced by the only 1. What will be the b? So b can be replaced, n plus 1 is equal 0. So what I have to do, n is equal minus 1. So I'm just hide this one terms and I just replace n is equal minus 1. So 1 divided by minus 1, so it is going to be the minus 1. So whenever you see like that linear and distinct factors, so you may use this concept, and then it is clear that when you run n is equal 1, so you will get this one, n is equal 2, you will get this one, n is equal 3, and so on. And after that you have to follow this one because this is going to be eliminated, and what you will have 1 minus 1 divided by n plus 1. But when you take the limit, and you will get this one, and this is a finite quantity, and hence you get the answer. Let us consider another questions. Prove that the series n square is divergent. So it is clear that partial sum Sn can be assumed because a1 plus a2 plus a3 and last n. So whenever you see 1 plus 2 plus 3 and last that is n, so in that case partial sum is what, n into n plus 1 divided by 2. When you see 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square plus and last n square, so in that case n into 2n plus 1 into n plus 1 divided by that is the 6, n into n plus 1 into 2n plus 1, and that will be that is formula that you can apply it. And suppose we have given that 1 cube plus 2 cube plus 3 cube plus and last that is n cube. So what you are going to get, whatever you have this one, just do its square, n into n plus 1 divided by 2 raised to power 2. So whenever you simplify, so n square into n plus 1 square divided by that is the 4, and that formula will help you to determine the sum of the finite terms. So let us understand that is a sign, and that can be written. But when we assume that the partial sum, and when we apply the limiting concept, so what I'm just going to get, infinite divided by that is a finite quantity, so it will be the infinite, and therefore the series is divergent. So that means whatever you have, suppose you have given that this one, so again it will be the divergent. If I say series n square, again it will be the divergent, and same whatever we have done, this is also going to be the divergent. Let us understand, is the series this one is convergent? If so, find its sum. It's a very good question. It is very important for the GATE examination too. So whenever you see un is equal this one, so that can be, I'm just going to concentrate on 1 divided by n plus 1 as a fixed quantity. So I'm just going to explain this one. So what you can say, 1 divided by n plus 1, that is, I'm just going to as it is, and 1 divided by n into n plus 2. So here what you can do, just you have, this is the linear and distinct factor. So here a divided by n, I'm just using partial fraction method. So I just want to determine this quantity. But what we can say about n is equal 0, when we put n itself equal 0, I just hide this one, and when I put n is equal 0, so what I'm just going to get, only 1 divided by 2. Same, n plus 2 will be 0 if I replace n is equal minus 2, so I'm hiding this these terms, and n is equal minus 2, so what I'm just going to get, a minus 1 by 2. What does it mean by, whenever I simplify this one, so what I'm just going to get, that thing you should keep in mind. So whenever I just simplify n plus 2 and again I write as LCM n, so whenever I simplify, so we will get the same. That means I can represent 1 divided by 2 times n plus 1, 1 divided by n minus 1 divided by n plus 2. But the same thing is that now what you have to do, you have to multiply with this and also you have to multiply with this. So already we have done this one. Now you need to consider here partial sum Sn. So let us see. So partial sum Sn is equal u1 plus u2 plus un, but when you run n is equal 1, so what I'm just going to get, 1 divided by 1 into 2 minus 1 divided by n is equal 1 plus 1, that is 2 into 3. Plus n is equal to, so what I'm just going to get, 1 divided by 2 into 3 minus 1 divided by 3 into 4, plus and last term whatever it is. But all the terms contains 1 by 2, so I've just assumed that 1 by 2 as a constant quantity as a common. But when you look, so this is going to be the cancel out. So what you will have, only you will left with only first term 1 divided by 1 into 2 and last term whatever it is. But when I take its limit and tends to infinite, so what I'm just going to get, 1 divided by infinite, and 1 divided by infinite is nothing but this is the 0, and therefore what I'm just going to get, 1 divided by 2 into 2, therefore that is a 1 by 4, and that is the finite answer. And therefore we can say the series is convergent, and whatever the given series, its infinite sum will be 1 divided by 4. So let us understand another question. Discuss the convergence of the series. Series starting from 1 to infinite, tan inverse 1 divided by n square in plus n plus 1. And also if it is possible, find its sum. That means you need to concentrate on the telescoping series, otherwise geometric. But this is not the case of the geometric series. So geometric series we will discuss later on next to this one, but just focus on the telescoping series. So this term un can be written as, rewrite as n into n plus 1 plus 1. But you should concentrate on that whenever I just divide by n into n plus 1. So what it will be, 1 divided by n into n plus 1 divided by 1 plus 1 divided by n into n plus 1. So tan inverse of 1 divided by n minus 1 divided by n plus 1, because numerator can be rewrite here, and 1 plus 1 divided by n into 1 divided by n plus 1. Using this formula, that is all you know. Tan inverse of x minus y divided by 1 plus xy. This is as tan inverse x minus tan inverse y whenever we have mod xy is less than 1. If it is greater than, this formula doesn't hold. So therefore we have the tan inverse x is replaced by 1 by n and y is replaced by 1 divided by n plus 1. So what I'm just going to get, tan inverse 1 by n minus tan inverse of 1 divided by n plus 1. So partial sum Sn, that will be, when you put here n is equal 1, so what you are going to get, tan inverse 1 minus tan inverse 1 divided by 2. Same, n is equal to, so you will get this one, n is equal to 3, you will get this one, and n is equal, and that is the last term. But when you simplify, so it is going to be the eliminate. That means till this one you will get the cancel out, and what you will have, tan inverse 1 minus tan inverse of 1 divided by n plus 1. But when you take the limit, so this is the tan inverse 1, that is the pi by 4, and tan inverse 1 divided by n1, that is tan inverse 0, and tan inverse 0 is nothing but 0. So this is the finite quantity, and therefore the series is convergent, and the sum is the pi by 4. Now let us discuss about the geometric series. Geometric series is what? It is the infinite series. But when we consider conjugative terms, and when we consider second term divided by first term, third divided by second term, fourth divided by third term, and if you get all the terms have the common ratio, then the series will be the geometric series. And generalized form you can write as summation n is equal 1 to infinite a into r raised to n minus 1, where a is non-zero. If a is equal 0, then all the terms becomes that is 0. So first term will be non-zero, whatever it is, and r raised to n minus 1, where r is nothing but ratio. And that is we will keep in mind. So if r is equal 1, so what we can write, only a plus a plus a plus a, and partial sum as n, and that can be written as what, exactly n into a, and that tends to plus or minus infinite as n tends to infinite, because it depends on the values of a. If it is positive, so it will be the plus infinite. If it is negative, so it will be the minus infinite. So therefore the limit does not exist, and therefore the series is divergent when we assume that r is equal 1. But what about if r is not equal 1? So partial summation can be written in this way, but to prove, I'm just multiply by r for simplicity, r into Sn, that can be written as in this way, and subtracting this equation, so what I'm just going to get, Sn minus r times Sn. So it will be, observe that these all the terms will be the eliminate. So what I will left with, only first a, and this is a into r raised to n. But when you make a subject Sn, so what you will get here, you will left with Sn into 1 minus r. But when we make a subject as Sn, so what I'm just going to get, a times 1 minus r raised to n divided by 1 minus r, and that is what exactly our partial sum. But whenever we have the finite quantity, so in that case we will use this one. If I put restriction on that, minus 1 to plus 1, so in that case r raised to n will be the 0. That means whenever I assume that mod r less than 1, that means the r raised to n is going to be the 0 as we take n very large number. When I apply the limit to this partial sum, so this is going to be what, exactly 0. So what I'm just going to left with a divided by 1 minus r, and that is what exactly our, whenever we have the geometric series, so it's infinite sum is nothing but a divided by 1 minus r, provided mod r is less than 1. And if r is less than or equal minus 1, or r is greater than 1, the series, whenever we assume that the limit n tends to infinite, r raised to n doesn't hold, that means the series is what, exactly divergent for this case too. You may consider, if you assume that r is equal, that is the minus 2, which is satisfied by this one, so minus 2. So when I put here r is equal minus 2 raised to n, so simply it is what, exactly minus infinite. That means limit does not exist, and therefore what we can say, the series is divergent whenever I assume that r is less than or equal 1 minus 1, or if I assume that r is greater than 1, and the geometric series will be the divergent. So conclusion says, whenever you have mod r is less than 1, then the geometric series a into r raised to n minus 1, this will be the converges to where, so a divided by 1 minus r. If mod r is greater than or equal 1, so what we are going to assume, that it will be the divergent. This is the summary of the geometric series. Already I have explained you, this is the convergent if this is happened, and its sum is divided by 1 minus r divergent for this is going to be happen. So let us understand, is the series this one is convergent? So what you have to first consider, so let us rewrite this series. So 4 raised to n divided by 3 raised to n minus 1, but here these can be written as 3 raised to n into 3 raised to minus 1, and this is got 1 divided by this is so 1 divided by 3 into summation 4 raised to n divided by 3 raised to n. So whenever you simplify, so what you are going to get, so you will get here 1 divided by 3 summation 4 by 3 raised to n, but we know that this is what exactly our series r raised to n, and whenever we compare with this, so it is clear that r is equal, that is 4 by 3, and which is greater than 1, that means it is going to happen this one, and therefore we can say that this series is what exactly divergent. Let us understand one more question. 1 plus 2 by 3 plus 4 by 9 plus 8 by 27 plus and so on is the convergent, and if it is possible, otherwise find its sum. Otherwise they may ask simply find sum of this infinite series. So first you should understand, for the simplicity just write in this one. So from this it is clear to rewrite this one as we compare with the geometric series, summation starting from 1 to infinite 2 by 3 raised to n minus 1. But again it is clear that this is the geometric series with ratio r is equal, that is 2 by 3, and which is less than 1, and therefore according to this condition what we can say, the series is convergent, and what it will be, its infinite sum. So a, that means first term is that, so 1 divided by 1 minus r is equal, that is the 2 by 3. But whenever you simplify, so what you will get, 1 minus 2 by 3, so it will be 3 minus 2, that is the 1 by 3. So 1 divided by 1 divided by 3, so it is going to be 3, and that will be the finite quantity, and therefore the series is convergent, sum is 3. Let us understand one more question. The figure shows that the first 7 of the sequence of the square, we are talking about the first 7 of sequence, the outermost area, whatever we have the outermost, and this area is nothing but 4 meters square. Each of the other square is obtained by joining the midpoint. Remaining square can be obtained whenever you join the midpoint of the whatever we have the given square. So if I join the midpoint, this is the midpoint, again this is the midpoint, this is midpoint. So when I make a line joining this all the midpoints, so we have this one. Again I want to make another square, so again I have to assume that midpoint of this one, also midpoint of this one, so I'm just going to get this one. And also what I just want to find the sum of the areas of all the square in the infinite sequence. So area of the second square, first is the outermost, that is its area is 4. So what I'm just going to get, 1 divided by 2 into 4 times, so answer is 2. Area of the first, that is given, first square. So area of the third one, that is 1/2 of the second, whatever we have the area, that is going to be 1 and so on. That means what we can represent, this is the first area, that is 4, second, this is third, fourth, fifth and so on. And this is like what exactly infinite series. I'm not going to concern only first 7, but we can extend to the infinite series. Now just take for common for the simplicity. So 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 divided by 8 plus and so on. But whenever you see, so this is like this one, and from this what we can conclude that this is 4 times series 1 divided by 2 raised to n minus 1, and starting from 1 to infinite. Whenever you put here n is equal 1, so 1 minus 1, that is 0, so 1 by 2 raised to 0, that is going to be 1. N is equal to, so 1 by 2 raised to 2 minus 1, that is 1. So what will be only 1 by 2, and that is VR. So like that you can write as a generalize, and this is what exactly our ratio r is equal 1 by 2, which is less than 1, and the first term is what you can understand, that is 4, and therefore what we can say that the series is convergent. And where does the series is going to be converges, and that is a divided by 1 minus r. So a is equal 1, and this is also you can assume that a is equal 4, but because whenever we assume that a into r is to n minus 1, and this is what exactly our constant quantity, this is a constant, so that a also you can take that a is equal 4, and whenever you put here and whenever you simplify, so you will get the answer 8, which is finite quantity. Therefore the sum is 8. So discuss the convergence of the geometric series 2 raised to n plus 5 divided by 3 raised to n, and therefore this series can be rewrite as this way. Phi is the constant, and whenever you apply the separate series, so you may write this one, and this is what exactly geometric series, also it is a geometric series. But for we observe that this one, so this is the geometric series with the ratio r1 is equal, that is 2 by 3, and let us assume that r2 is equal, that is the 1 by 3, and both are both exactly less than 1, and therefore we can say that the series is going to be the convergent, and what will be its infinite sum. So for that, s1 is equal a1 divided by 1 minus r1. a1 is what? a1 is nothing but whenever you consider this one, so this is going to be the a1 is equal 2 by 3, and for this a2 is nothing but only 1 by 3. So let us put all these value in this formula, and you will get 2 and 1 by 2. So as that is infinite sum, so that whenever you represent this one, so you will get only 2, and 5 times, that is the whatever we have as 2, that is the 1 by 2, and whenever you simplify, you will get the answer 9 by 2. So in this video we have discussed about the series, when the series will be the convergent, and also we have seen the two tests. Based on that you can determine its infinite sum. First one was the telescopic series, and second one was the geometric series. In the next video we will discuss about the other test, and based on that also you can discuss about the series is convergent or divergent. Thank you.